Hey guys, part 2 video here on the handrail. So I've actually finished everything except my final sanding and painting. I wanted to show you guys the screws I used, where I installed the screws, go over something on the anchor, the post anchor. So basically, first things first, here's the project. Not quite complete. It's got some liquid nail that I used to basically seal up these crevices, further secure this railing. But we have 7 screws that are actually holding this rail in, and then this one's got 5. What I used for the railing mount are these screws right here. So sorry, let me pull out the other box. These are 3.5. They come in different sizes, of course, but these are zinc coated. It's going to help it with last longer in the weather, and it's got coarse threads. So I did pilot every single hole that I screwed into, because I didn't want to crack the wood, of course. That's a rookie mistake, just letting y'all know. So these right here, I mean, look how deep that is, look how deep that secures. And then as well, I should have used a little bit shorter screws right here, but what I did is I just, hammered the sides in and put some caulking over it, and I'll sand that down a little bit. But the reason I did this, and I might even want to add a little bit of extra, I don't know what happened here. That's kind of strange that this happened, but it's to help with the weather. I mean, it's to keep water out the crevices. It's to keep the screws from getting weathered and damaged, and even though these are zinc coated, it's not good to keep any kind of screws in the weather. So all these little divots in the caulking, which is kind of strange, should probably be filled by paint pretty easily. If they're not, I'll probably come back and re-caulk and do a little touch-up painting. But when I drove these screws, I made sure that they were driven a little bit in, so that way the caulking would cover it. But a couple of them I had a little bit of issues with. But I wanted to say something on, real quick, before my ADD gets me all crazy. I also used, the only 2 screws I used were those ones you just saw, and then these ones. These are post frame screws. So what I use this for? Post framing. So as you can see, I use 4 to hold this, to secure this railing together, just for a little bit extra support and structure. That's the only spot that I use those. I use about 16 of those screws. They look like metal screws, but they're not metal screws. They're wood screws, I mean, from my understanding, but they work pretty dang well. So something about the post framing for this project, like I mentioned in the previous video, every single post is 1 foot deep, but I used this anchoring cement, which I should have just went ahead and got 4 buckets, but I was trying to keep the budget low. All in all, the material cost, without paint, of course, because I already have paint, but material cost for this job, everything you're looking at is $148. That's in a small town. So if you live in a big city, I mean, I'm sure you could, get the materials a lot cheaper than that. However, I live like 40 minutes from the nearest Home Depot. It just made more sense to go ahead and get the material in town and go ahead and start building. Time is money. So yeah, guys, I mean, I would recommend getting 1 big bag of the quick set, or just getting 4 little buckets. I think these run about $8 or $9 each, somewhere in there, at least where I live. But yeah, I mean, I used 2. I used 2 divided by 2 posts. I saw 1 bucket there and 1 bucket here, and it's actually pretty sturdy. I also added some rocks and little pieces of concrete in there. But I mean, the whole thing is with a handrail is, like, you want it to be as secure as possible. I mean, this ain't going nowhere, but what I noticed is the left sides sit just a little bit better than the right. But one thing you could do if you have this kind of problem, I might do this, I'm not sure yet, you can dig back up around where you anchored originally, and you could just add some more concrete in there, and that'll help it. I mean, some people, they build around this, or they'll build a whole deck structure, you know what I mean, around, you know, have themselves, you know, a rebuilt deck over the concrete. Maybe it might need to be leveled off at some points, but you know, that's what the whole point of this project is, just to make it to where it's sellable, because you can't sell in the state of Texas, you can't sell a house, as far as my understanding, this is what the owner told me, if there's no double handrail for these steeper steps. They're only about a foot each, but still the elevation's too high. They said there had to be a handrail, so here it is. I mean, yeah, I could have brought this railing all the way if I had more of this wood railing, this pre-routed railing, but like I said, materials were a little bit limited, so I made it look as good as possible. I used those coarse thread screws to hold this one in on the side as well. I mean, that is, you can put all your weight on that. I mean, it's thick, it's really sturdy wood. So anyways, guys, I'm about to sand this thing up. I'm about to paint it, and then I'll shoot one more video of the final product. That one will be really short. So all right, see y'all soon.